Guys, this is Carolyn with Finance Learning Lab, and in this tutorial, I'm going to give you an introduction to all things QuickBooks Online. We're going to dive into how you get yourself started, walk through the major sections, and I'll share a few tips and tricks along the way for you to not get overwhelmed. Be sure to check out some of the other Finance Learning Lab videos because for some of you, using QuickBooks is not a very good idea. I have very strong views on all of that, but if you've decided that that is the right tool for you, if you decided you need a tool and if that's the tool you want to go with, this is going to be the video that is going to walk you through it so that you don't feel overwhelmed and kind of give you that orientation. So get yourself comfortable. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you through everything. So with that, let's jump in.
What I want you to do is kind of focus in on this left-hand panel, and you'll notice that there are about a dozen or so different options on the left-hand side. Typically, you're going to come back to this dashboard is going to be kind of your starting point, but I want to take you through each of the different tabs, and this will kind of give you a lay of the land. So if you ever get stumped or you feel confused or you feel lost, always go back to your dashboard or Get Things Done. It's a really good spot for you to go back to when you're lost. Business Overview is going to give you some of the financials or a snapshot, a summary of what's been entered so far. So think of this as your reporting dashboard. It's kind of letting you know what information has been input for the company, and the Get Things Done is going to be more of your status. You'll be able to look down here below, again in the dashboard. If you are coming across any of these different tasks, you'll be able to easily see, oh, I need to add a customer, I need to add an estimate or an invoice, I need to receive money. You'll kind of see these different prompts in here. So anytime you feel lost, go back to the dashboard. Next up is the banking tab. So most of your clients will likely have their bank accounts already integrated with QuickBooks. What that means is essentially in computer land, there's a connection between the bank and QuickBooks that is feeding the bank information into QuickBooks. Some of your clients may not have that integration or that feed, in which case you'll need to periodically take the bank information and add it into QuickBooks. The banking tab is going to be where you'll be able to see the status of much of that. So you go under here and you'll be able to see banking, and you'll be able to find the bank balance. You'll see that this case, the connection, and along the way, QuickBooks will prompt you with some different videos that will be helpful for where you're at. You'll be able to see that there's sub-tabs along here, so you can always navigate through if for some reason you need to create a unique tag or a unique receipt. But banking is going to be anything coming from a credit card statement, anything coming from a checking account or a savings account. Sales is sometimes called your customers, your clients, your revenue, the bills. Sales is really the money that the company is making. So sales, you're going to be able to kind of go down here and you'll find a bit of an overview. So on the overview tab, again, very similar to the dashboard tab, it's going to give you a little bit of information on what's been entered so far. And very similar to banking, you'll notice that along the sides here, you can navigate for a little bit more information. And this information is just so you can kind of get a handle of what's been input into QuickBooks so far. The cash flow tab is one that will give you a view of what is the money in and what is the money out. Think of this as a little bit of a reporting view of the information. Expenses is going to be all the money that the company is spending money on. So again, you'll be able to navigate to this section here. Think of it, again, we're working on a map and there's different zones. There's the jungle zone, there's the Arctic zone. We're now in QuickBooks and we're looking at the expenses zone. So the money going out, this is where you'll be able to see who is getting paid money. So Michelle, Bank of any city, City of Water, here's the dollar amounts, and you'll be able to kind of see some of the different information in and around here. And then suppliers, again, is just a fancy word for, you can kind of think through expenses is what you bought and supplier is who you bought it from. So supplier, vendor, it's the who's the company, who's the person you purchased it from, and the expenses is the what did you buy from those individuals. Some of your clients may use projects, many of them actually won't, but if you do, the projects tab will be notified on there. That will be something that you'll want to kind of clarify when you're onboarding with the client. I would say for the vast majority of you, the project section is probably one that you will not typically be using. Similarly, payroll will really depend on whether the small business actually has employees or whether they're working strictly with contractors. So payroll will be any people that are getting paid that are officially recorded as employees. You will find that many of your VA clients will actually commonly not necessarily have payroll, but if they did, this is where you would navigate. The reports section is exactly what it sounds like. It's where you can get summaries, you can get an aggregate view of everything that's been input into the system. So you'll be able to kind of select some of your favorites. When we navigate to taxes, we kind of think back to the lingo, and why we do a lot of bookkeeping is to ensure that at the end of the year, our taxes can be filed. So under taxes is where you're going to be able to find the filings and the payments. You'll be able to also manage sales tax. So whenever GST comes up, you'll be able to navigate to that over here. Mileage will be if you have clients that are driving around to different places within the city, they may be entering some of the mileage in here. You may want, whenever you're onboarding your client, to ask if there's any particular apps that they're using to track different types of smaller expenses like mileage, like different hosting or meal expenses they might be incurring. But you can see in here that it's a mileage section. Accounting. This is actually going to be one of the sections where you're going to spend quite a bit of your time. In here is where you're going to find the chart of accounts. The chart of accounts is just the buckets that you are putting all the money transactions into. So as you see here, take a peek under the hood and you can actually see your client's chart of accounts. And what you'll notice along here is just simply a description of what they are, what the dollar amounts are. You can drill in to find some history. You'll be able to navigate through here. So you're going to see things like entertainment, printed materials, advertising, bank charges, etc. You're going to be able to find. The other thing that you're really going to want to know under the accounting section is the reconcile. So if we go here under reconcile, one of the core tasks that you're going to be doing as a bookkeeper is actually going to be the reconciliation. My Accountant is going to be where the client can either invite yourself as the bookkeeper, as well if there is a CPA firm or some other organization that needs access to your bookkeeping client, and this is where you'll be able to navigate to be able to provide them with that access. And then finally down here below, you likely won't use it too commonly, but there are some connected apps that you will be able to find that are linked up with QuickBooks Online.
Be sure to subscribe to Finance Learning Lab for all things finance, accounting, making all things accounting simple for small business owners.